Hey everybody. Hey, welcome back to the Backpack.
Yeah.
Yes, we're on our second episode. I'm here with my bro, Jay, and it's me, Shay. So yes, we're excited to be back. We hope you all enjoyed our introductory video. We just introduced ourselves and kind of just went over what we'll be talking about. We still welcome comments, any feedback, as there are newbies. But I think we're doing quite well.
Oh, yeah. Like, everything's been going good. I know it's been a minute. We've been getting some things in, life stuff. Want to make sure that our mind is right before the work is right. So
yeah, and that'll be another topic.
Yeah.
Yes, we always say mental health is real, but sometimes it just hits you, and you're just like, rolling with it. So yeah, definitely table that for another one.
Yes.
All right. So before we get started, we love to do our libations. Even though we don't have a plan, we should get one. We want to invite into this space. And so tonight we'll be talking about a lot of different topics. I know I've said this before, but I'm going to invite my grandfather, Wesley Williams, into this space. I also want to invite Coretta Scott King, because we will be talking about relationships, and she was with obviously a very prominent person, leader in our community. I also want to invite Tina Turner. I know it sounds strange,
No, it's not.
but she is an ancestor now, but she was very pivotal, and she's also taught us a lot about what we're talking about and very influential in our culture. So I want to invite her into this space as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and one last person, and not last, I should have said her first, which I want to pay a lot of homage to, is Kami Lee. Kami Lee is my grandmother's mother, my dad's grandmother. I never had a chance to meet her, but I want to invite her into this space because all of the stories that I've heard were quite remarkable. As I'm sure a lot of you all hopefully will share about grandmothers or great-grandmothers. In the comments, we'll be talking about love, dating, and culture and things of that nature. Yeah. And so I thought it was great to invite her to this space too. So, Kami Lee.
Yeah. For me, I would say, because this is also sudden, Richard Roundtree. He definitely, and I had to learn this more. I always knew of his performance as Shaft, but I took for granted his impact within our community even back then. That was one of our black superheroes of the time, before we were born, obviously.
Yeah,
it's just knowing the impact he had within cinema, and that was really, really big for us, especially for our parents' time. So that was for me. I feel like I wanted to put his essence out. So rest in power for him.
Rest in power. Ashe.
Ashe.
All right. All right. So we invited our ancestors into the space, so now we're going to go ahead and get into a couple of topics. Again, thank you all for viewing our last video. So we're going to kick it off just with some political commentary. As we all know, the elections are coming up next year. We are quite early, but are we? It's always good to get. We can never be too early. And so one of our goals in creating the Black Pack was to just speak about politics as one of the main things, and how important it is to be involved, whether that's voting, whether that's speaking about your stance or anything, or any issues you want to be raised. And so one of the things we want to speak about is, what's the mindset that we should have when it comes to voting next fall? And so there's just been a lot of talk around it already. But we also know that sometimes voting in our community is not as high. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. Or sometimes we do it last minute. So how can we stay involved? What should we be looking for? Not necessarily who we should be supporting, but some of us may endorse others. So that's how we're going to jump into it, and I'll go ahead and pass it over to Jay.
Yeah, I feel like that is a very, is a very impactful question. Because like we can vote in so many ways, and necessarily it can be for us and it can be against us. What was it that one woman I follow, Teslin Figueroa, she mentioned herself, that like with black men, majority of black men, they actually vote. I mean, if they were to vote like in majority, a lot of the mindset behind black men will be more Republican. Mm-hmm. If you think about like rappers that we listen to today and what they talk about, it's like, you know, the support for guns and just like how they feel as far as hierarchy when it comes to relationship between men and women. That's just putting it surface level. It just had me thinking. It's like that brings up a very good point, especially what we've been hearing now. Like, I mean, I don't know if anyone had followed like Sexy Red, just pretty much gone on and so talked about how much she supported Trump, and it's like, yo, Trump is awful black because he was able to release so many black folks out of prison and all that stuff, and the stimulus checks and stuff and whatnot. And to take an objective approach on that, I can see why she would feel that way, and many other black folk will feel that way. So the main like mindset I feel, or just what we should be aware of, is like, what do we want? Mm-hmm. Not necessarily who we voting for, but what do we want for ourselves? Because we have a hard time, one, coming together as a collective, mm-hmm. and we can actually expand on that too. How that can be seen to identify between like the Democrat Party and the Republican Party, mm-hmm. But how we come as a collective, and play the devil's advocate. But also like, how do we ask? What is it that we? Well, actually, not even ask. How do we demand what we want? Yeah. Like, I just listened to an interview with Van Jones recently, mm-hmm. and he mentioned something that was very, very pivotal. And he was saying that it's like, you know, it's not about like voting for what we want, but what, like, hopefully I'm not butchering this, but more voting for what we need to hold on to. Mm-hmm. Because when we don't vote, we lose. Mm-hmm. We lose a lot of what we already have. So it's more when, as black people, when we vote, we're on the defensive. We're not mm-hmm. necessarily on the offensive. And that's something that we really need to think about. Because, one, when it comes to politics, we really are vastly divided. Like, there's more black men who voted for Trump than any other like race. That's like, that was already been put out. And it's like, that alone goes with the, like, we need to think about the mindset behind that. It's like, all right, why are these black men voting for Trump? What is it about him that is pushing them more into, like, not even voting Republican, but what the direction that he was going, like what Trump was going for, that enlightened that side. So I just feel that we really need to look into what is it that we want, and what is it that we are fighting to protect, mm-hmm. more than just like, you know, oh, I'm going to go for this person in general. I think that would make things a little bit more straightforward for us. Mm-hmm. And that's just on the surface. I definitely want to hear what my sister has to expand mm-hmm. on that, and I probably add more to it. But that's how I feel for it. Yeah, and I hear you. I do, and I think that, you know, when we speak about what we want, that's totally fine. But then it comes down to, which we'll get into probably later, culturally. Like, I mean, we always say
well, not always, but Black people are not monolithic. And so when it comes to politics, I definitely straddle on the fence more of there are going to be brothers and sisters who are Republican, and they're going to be brothers and sisters that are Democrat. And I think that's healthy, to be honest. I do. I know I'll get a lot of backlash, but when you think about it, maybe in a sense, if we went back in time and there was more, like you said, unification or, you know, what we wanted and moving forward, which that's kind of what happened, because we all know that although, yeah, there was an amount of Black people who voted for Republicans, historically, Black people vote democratically. And so I think that has been, you know, a challenge for us. That's not swaying anyone to any particular side, but I think, as he said, the question is why. So deeply looking at why we choose to either vote Democrat or Republican is a huge thing we need to discuss. We've seen different forums where you've had Black conservatives and then, of course, Democrats, Black Democrats, like speaking on the different reasons of why they vote. But ultimately, you know, a group of people, of Black people, right, of Black folk can feel like, you know, maybe these policies and procedures are really good for Black people to advance. And then some on the other side can think that as well. And so taking that into consideration, as well as our counterparts, when you think about it, not, you know, again, not trying to compare, but also when we look at the states, much of our white counterparts are divided between Republican and Democrat. And to me, that is healthy. And I feel like, but even in other country systems, that is a thing. Like, if there are multiple parties, we come from a 2-party system. Yeah, there's independent or green and this, that, and the third. However, support is usually split, if not equally. I mean, you may have maybe 60-40 or something of that nature. But I do think it is problematic when an entire population, right, a race population is voting for one party, and we do need to look at why. And if we are, which is totally okay, and I stand with that, like we have been for decades, and that's totally fine if we feel or we believe, and I want to stop saying if we feel, but rationally and logically looking at why the majority of Black people vote democratically, what do we want, you know? Because it's like, if it's not being addressed, or if we are kind of seeing some of the same results, what do we want? And how do we get there? How do we voice that so that we can be unified for those of us that do choose to vote democratically? And then the same for a Republican. I don't condemn anyone, Black or white, just being honest, who vote, because I mean, there is a reason, you know. I just think maybe getting more voices out, more surveys that convey what the reasons are is good, especially when it comes to policy, especially when it comes to what are you looking at? Are you looking at your tax bracket? Are you looking at homelessness? Are you looking at, you know, social programs, you know, this and that? Because if we can break down specifically what issues are plaguing our community, if that's what we're looking at, then we can advertise, or we can go to both parties and even other parties, you know, decide to run and say, this is what we need and this is what we're looking for, you know, specifically to us. But then there are also some issues that are just beyond us, right? That I think maybe when we think about Republicans and people who stand with them, that is just across the board for all Americans, regardless of color, if that makes sense. But I do think we should be thinking about it. I do invite people to speak on it in the comments below. We know there's a lot of history with both Democrats, and I would love to go deeper, like delve deeper into that, or delve into it in terms of what he said earlier too, is how morally, which I know there's been documentaries and things like that out, that Black people are actually morally more Republican.
Black men.
Black men, but Black women too. One good example, okay. I'll say. Okay, well, I don't want to bring it up now.
I was like,
maybe we can cut it.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
mention
you
her
need
name.
to cut it.
Go mention the name. I already know.
Ooh,
no, I'm over here.
No, let's vibe. No, who?
You about to say Candace Owens? Huh?
Well, Candace Owens, yes, but she was liberal and she talked about her experience with that. But I mean, I was looking more towards policy, also from storytelling and how our families typically talk and then the way that they vote, but then also what happens behind closed doors, which is just like a political, I guess, escapade in itself. Is just like you have specific policies. And one I'll bring up, I'm gonna have to cut this.
Just put it in there, man. I'm pretty sure everybody would want to hear.
Yeah, but one I'll bring up specifically and just studying politics in undergrad, when I first was in college and in San Francisco, one of the biggest, well, there were two, but one of the biggest, I guess, policies or propositions on the ballot in 2008 was gay marriage. And it was just like, oh, of course, this is, good. Gay marriage is going to pass. It's California. And what happened?
Now we're black folks, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it was actually, people, I'm going to get I think I got it. I still think I have a memory of an elephant, but it was like, vote yes or no on Prop 8. And I believe the proposition stated, for gay marriage. And I want to check. I just want to double check.
Yes. So while she's checking on that, I just know that like she brought up a good point on just with, gay marriage in general, like even till this day, and we can go into a different topic on that, just like how we view as a black community, how we still view like homosexuality and LGBTQ. Like I don't think we even still got a grasp on that. I'm still having conversations with some of my elder family members on the subject, because it's like, yo, this is y'all still think this way? Like this is crazy. But it's like, going to her point, like that's also a Republican mindset of being against that. But I don't want to cut up your wisdom, because I had a follow-up question for you. But
no, I was just making sure that like a yes would be a band on it, from what I recall. And no was, of course, to have gay marriage. And that was like a pivotal point for me in learning politics, because we're in California. I was saying, I'm going to San Francisco. There was like no doubt, but the fact that it passed to ban gay marriage was a big thing. And then when they did come out with kind of like the numbers, the census report on how people voted, majority of the votes to pass it were African American.
Yeah.
And so it's just an interesting thing, but not to single out us or whatever, it's just talking about morals, but also just talking about sometimes, I think that's the scary part about politics or political identity, or even inherited identity, which you even spoke about, is that maybe our elders, they do actually turn out to vote, a lot of them, and rightfully so, having a history of fighting to, vote. And so when we're thinking about that, it's just, I don't know, it's just interesting to me is that we can have one political identity, right? When the younger generation or millennials think this way, and then we have our boomers who think another way, and then who's coming out to show out to the ballots. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. But also, it brings up a good conversation between both generations about, what is this? Some of us just inherit how our parents vote or how our grandparents vote. And this is why we wanted to discuss it, because it's like, well, how do you think about how you want to vote? You know what I mean? In America. Is it based off, is it identity politics? Because you're black, you have to vote this. We all know the famous saying, if you don't vote for Joe, you're not black. I'm sorry. You ain't black.
I'll get you started on that, man.
I know, but it's just like, but then, so it's just, I don't know. I think it's just like very, very telling. And I kind of want to go back, to your follow up question, but just stating, we just really want people to think about it. And we want to hear people's reasons, and break it down, socioeconomics, or if it has to do with social, cultural, like things of that nature. What motivates you to vote for a certain party? I also would love to hear the history of why you vote for a particular party. Do you do the research? And that's totally fine. It's not to condemn. Is it just inherited? Is it identity? Is it the tax bracket? We didn't get into it yet, but we all know there are some well-known Black celebrities who do vote for Republicans, and it does have a lot to do with tax, but it also has to do a lot with some of the policies, which we'll get into hopefully in the next episode, that they believe actually help people. And sometimes people can say, again, not telling people how to feel, or throw anything out there, but it has been reported and suggested, and I know people will refute me, but that Donald Trump did give a lot of money during his presidency to historical Black colleges. And
that was data that was brought out. Yeah,
exactly.
The only president, I think.
I think the Biden may have, they didn't give maybe more as much, but they've given. One of the profound things for me, we talked about traveling, and there was a highway, not saying it's good or bad, but there is a highway in Ghana named after George W. Bush, Oh,
I didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just like, before, I remember going there as a student, I think it was maybe being built, and then going back again as a teacher to work there and just seeing how much a difference it made. But it was amazing. And then, of course, being in a program where it was PEPFAR, and PEPFAR was, established by George W. Bush, not the first, but yeah. And so it just makes you think, and it's just interesting. And Democrats have done, and that too, it's not like, I believe it's not who's right or wrong. It's like what we're looking for, and that's why I think it's important what he said is like, okay, well, what are you looking for? Because if it's more jobs, if it's, I don't know, like more job protection, is it for housing? Those of us, we have friends, one of our close friends, she has a house, and, is it taxes and that, like, what is it? Because I think that makes it a bit clearer in how, to vote. Is it more access to, I don't know, education, loans, or loan, reduction, or this, if that's possible.
Banking
but
too.
Is it banking? Yeah. Is it this, is it, laws? We were talking about that Ebony alert. Is that something we even asked for? You know what I mean? And I'll put it out there before you ask my follow-up question. I mean, an Ebony alert sounds good, but again, in theory, it's just like, what are we pushing? We've been talking about reparations. Where's that going? Seems like only San Francisco, and we don't even know what's happening with that. We
still don't know what happened to those kids in Cleveland.
Exactly.
And that was an Ebony alert situation too. No one was alerted about that.
Exactly. Yeah, but it wasn't. And again, and it's just like, shouldn't it be an Amber Alert? Amber Alert in general, right, was established or was created because there was actually a child named Amber who went missing and unfortunately passed. But that was to alert about any child, know. But it's like, is that what we're asking for, though? Is that what we need? Let's see the data. Let's see the surveys. Let's see what we need so that we can vote accordingly. And also, let's not, condemn each other. Or how we vote. I know he's so loud. Everyone's get on me. Yeah, but both sides do it. I think Black Republicans condemn Black Democrats and vice versa. But I think that when you can come concrete with the reason of why you're voting for a certain party, I mean, it is what it is. But I'll leave it at this when you ask your follow-up question. And you may have told me this in undergrad. I don't know if you remember. I think you do.
Remind me.
Okay, but the saying was that the 2 things you should never talk about in relationships. It was you! Wow. I'm sure he loves that. I remember is religion and politics.
Yo.
And yeah, but that's why
I mean, there's a third. I think sports is in there too. But yeah, the main one was religious. But yeah,
religion and politics. Well, I'll just say the double R's. But I understand it, but I also think that we're all people. You know, we're all trying to vote and, you know, do what's right for what we think is right for yourself, of course, right? And, you know, that famous analogy, you got to put your own face mask on, and as well as others. But sometimes I wonder, you know, are we voting for we or me? And then some people are voting for me instead of we. And so it's like, can you really condemn someone for voting for me instead of we? But maybe voting for me means I am voting for we, you know, and we can give examples of that, and vice versa. Voting for we, maybe. But I've also heard other people like, okay, I vote Democrat, but I don't even qualify for half the things that I voted for.
Well, on that part, and that's what I want to ask, because I just recently registered as an independent because, one, like, she already knows I don't mess with Republicans at all. 2, I also don't trust Democrats because Democratic politicians have not given me anything worth trusting, and that's been, you know, that has been a repeated thing going on. And she spoke on this. So here's my question to you. Is, do you feel like a 2-party system is what's hindering us from actually advancing within the political realm, as far as like us working as a collective?
That's a really good question. I think I mean, I know it's like I especially as a political science major, but I understand why 2-party systems are in place. And when you even look at other systems of governments, I mean, there's 1 or 2, like 3, you know, it's not as many because, I mean, yeah.
It's just the main 2.
It's just the main, yeah. And it's just like you have so many. But I do think here in the States that we should be pushing more towards independent. I agree. I wish there was like another opposite, but I think being independent, or maybe even 3 categories in the States is good.
Because, I think we do, because I think you can vote. I mean, there's independent votes too.
Yeah, like, there are even Green Party. There's Green Party. Yeah, there's there's a lot when you look at them. But the thing is, it's always kind of like, even to be a front runner, very rare for any. I don't think it's ever happened for an independent person.
No.
Yeah, to
Bernie
ever
tried twice and that didn't
and I actually really like Bernie. Yeah,
I think majority of us would say reasonable people.
He is reasonable. Yeah. I wish I could put the little bubble. Like, life probably so much better. But no, and that's the thing. But that's where I think we cut ourselves short, is because you have to go with, I don't want to sound cliche, but it is a lesser of 2 evils, you know. But I think we should make it an even playing field where, yeah, maybe it used to be 2, and maybe way back when, and it did work that way. But I do think it's time to introduce like the independent, a third party in the States, and I think it levels things, because a lot of us are moving towards that way. You have progressives, or you have people in the middle. You have people who are like, okay, like, I agree with this policy, but not so much of that one, or and it's you know, 2 different parties. Excuse me, but I think as a independent, and I would challenge anybody who even runs as an independent, is to really hear the concerns of the American people and to be able to run off that. Because I think so often, again, when we're talking about, well, why you identify as this or that, people get enthralled in identity of politics. Yeah. They are important. That's your foundation. And that's okay. But that's your foundation. But where are we currently, and how does that apply? And if it doesn't apply, what can you do to acquiesce, to make sure that the needs of your people are being met? And I think both parties are having a challenge with that. I applaud the Democrats only in so many words or so many phrases, just because they represent so many people, which is a beautiful thing. So many different demands or wants or needs, while Republicans kind of have more, to me, of a more singular of this is all we want, X, Y, Z, you know what I mean? And catering to maybe one specific type of
individualism.
Group. Yeah, individualism. But then again, one might argue, but that individualism may provide collectivism. You know, as I'm saying, you never know. You know what I mean? Like you said, Sexy Red. I mean, we know 50 Cent, we know Lil Wayne in there. Yeah, and so it's just like, would that be, you know, because it's like, we would want someone to free or, you know what I mean, exonerate someone in our community and XYZ. But yeah, I just think it comes down to really thinking about like what you want and America moving toward a 3-party system. And I think that makes it just and fair, because with 2, it is too heavily divided. But we all know when it's an odd number, it makes it a bit better. The only challenge is that people blame independence, you know, for things. But if we actually made an independent worthy of that ballot status or being up there, if we publicly became and changed it to a three-party system, I think it would really work.
I'll say my piece quick because I know we have another topic to go into. I would say, like, I want to get rid of the 2-party system all entirely. It serves nobody, and it's just like it gets murky because then you have like politicians who are like, oh, they are moderately Democrat, or they, and it's like well, I've never heard this liberal Republican. That I don't even think that exists, but that's more so. It's just like it just makes things a little bit more difficult. So it's just having just a 1-party system, which is in a fantasy world, yes, but who actually is fighting for your beliefs and your values? Like that's, I think
what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's like who actually has your
3 representatives.
Yeah, no, it's like who has your best interests in mind, because we already seen that a lot of politicians, especially Democrats, don't have the best interests of the best interests of the mind of the Black community. Like we just saw that play out with Joe Biden. With Joe Biden talking about, like, you know, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black.
Yeah.
What kind of mindset do you think he already had from the beginning? Even though, like, Sleepy Joe might be in space somewhere else, but even so, like, that mindset alone shows how much Democratic politicians, not just him, have took advantage of our vote.
Yeah.
So we got to be real about this. Like, okay, who's actually with us? And actually, not even that. Like, all right, which one of these people is actually serving us and actually care about us? Like, the main reason, I'm going long with it. I'm sorry. The main reason why we even created the Black Pact was based off of an idea that Congressman Jamal Bozeman had mentioned recently. I say recently, earlier this year, about like pacts in general. The reason why a lot of our demands in the community haven't been passed at all within government is because we don't even have a Black pact to push that.
Yeah.
We have a Jewish pact. We have the NRA, like a pact for people who are supporting guns. They automatically get a lot of their stuff passed through because of the financial donations they be able to push into that. We don't have that. So once we actually, and that's a topic for another day. Once we can create that, which would be, honestly, that would be dope, because I think there was a study of like Black people, we are like made up of $1 trillion worth of spending power.
Yeah.
$1 trillion worth of spending power. We can probably help out with this American dead as it is. But like, it's just knowing that alone, it's like,
yes,
we have so much power. If not, Democrats wouldn't be relying on us for their vote.
Yeah.
But I'll leave it there. Like I said, there's gonna be more episodes. We're gonna be speaking more on that anyway. So, like,
I was trying to contain it, but you can go with this, or you can go with that. You can go with this, or you can go with that. That's what I think about in terms of like Republican and Democrat, or like our two-party system. And we need a different voice, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I think. Over and over, like, not even I think, we know time and time again, our leaders have come out, maybe YouTubers have come out, influencers, saying this is what we need, or that, or even condemning certain things Democrats say, condemning things like Republicans say. But at the end of the day,
But I think
3 is good.
Yeah, we're going in threes. But I know that we had a spicy topic coming up.
Yes, and speaking of that,
I mean, say how you will, spicy.
Yeah, it is spicy, but so is politics. I like politics a lot. I was kind of holding back, but I'm hoping I can get more comfortable. I am going to give a shout out to a certain person. I'm not going to say their name because you already said it, but
okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, we're definitely going to say that for another day. I have a lot to say about her.
Okay. But I also just love when people can express their opinion. So as we... transition here. Obviously, we know there's been a lot of talk about Will and Jada Pinkett Smith. And I feel so bad for saying it like that, because I feel like I should have said Will Smith. And it's almost like, I know.
We kind of have to. It's been...
Yeah, but here we go.
You know?
Here we go.
Yeah.
So that's been... on the news a lot. And so culturally, we want to talk about marriage and relationships. And as Will and Jada have been iconic for that for most of us, I think even both of us, they were married maybe before we were born. Were they?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Early
90s, right? Maybe after we're born, early 90s.
Yeah.
And so it's just like we're both born, in the 90s. I was 1990s, so I'm better. But when you're on, like, when you're actually a zero, it's like 90 is cool.
Oh, sis, what is the crap you're going to get into? You're going to make me act up.
Okay, we can act up. We're going to make it. But we've been hearing a lot of talk about them. Before we get into it, just want to say, like, before all of this, I'm kind of very new and whatever to it, is that obviously, like, the love for Jada is just it's chaos. Yeah, it's like we love you think I'm going through all my favorite movies, and judge me if you want to, but definitely love Menace to Society, and she was in it, and she had a pivotal role, the most memorable role, of course. Set it off, so sad. Cried my eyes out, but glad she survived. I'm trying to think what else. I
mean, it's going to be The Matrix for me. I'm sorry.
The Matrix,
Matrix
but it's just she's just been incredible, and of course, it's incredible to see her be with like a partner like Will Smith, because again, growing up in the 90s, watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, it taught so many life lessons, to us. It's beautiful. I mean, I almost feel like I should have shouted out Uncle Phil in our libation. Just the portrayal. Just the portrayal of Black love and fatherhood and all that, like, was amazing. But they have been a pivotal couple for some. I'm not saying all, because everybody looks at, but
the gold standard.
But they have been, and it's just been beautiful to see them, and also to witness their children, flourish as well. But there has been a lot of talk about them in the media and just what happened from the Oscars. Hope I got that awards right, and just the follow-up now with her on her book tour for Worthy. Beautiful title, by the way, because I do believe women are worthy. And I do think she is too, but I also think that, when we do talk about relationships, especially marriage or any serious relationship, does that look like? You know, should we look at, or did, I mean, I know most of us did look at them for things, but should we look at them for relationship goals? And also, we're just looking at what does it look like for Black people?
I'll I'll tackle the relationship goal first. For me, the answer is no. I'm sorry. Like now, I I know. I'm sorry, not sorry.
Okay.
I can't stand this. I really can't. Like it could be. I'm gonna be 1,000 with everybody here. Like what's been going on with Jada's book tour, what she has expressed, everything leading up to that. It's like there's certain things that needs to be left at home.
I agree.
I've heard various points of like, validating her. Of course, like people shunning her for putting everything that she had put out there, especially the Tupac stuff. That is just, I'm gonna control myself on that one because I was like, wow. But if we're talking about relationship goals and what we see as like what we strive for as in a marriage, though, like a lot of that stuff, I would hate to be Will in that situation.
That's what
Like,
a lot of men say.
but let me break it down on my end. Okay, so it's like that whole thing. Okay, y'all been separated for 6-7 years, right? But you have your family, you have your children, you have damn the image, but it's like you have like a system in place for just your household and your family. A lot of that stuff y'all couldn't work that out on your own. Instead, like you go on a book tour expressing everything that was on your mind, how Will wasn't even the first thought in mind to marry, and just like everything else. I was actually debating on getting the book first just to know what more, but like I don't know, I just want to get more into it. But just as and Will actually responded because he's been with her on the book tour, which is also is odd to me. I don't know. That's just like based off of the content of the book itself, from what we've heard. And he was just saying that like how, just pretty much praising her and just saying like how like, she's his life partner and like, there's so much that, he has learned and become a better man behind all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you went through so much pain. You've been dragged through the ringer and you're still just like, okay, yes, so support your lady, but there was a lot of hurtful things that was said in the context of this book. A lot of it, like, that was against you. Like, I wouldn't be okay with that. That's just me personally, because it's like, yo, why haven't we actually sit down and discuss this together? And maybe they have, I don't know. But just like, for it to go this far, especially when, and it sounds like I'm writing for the men here, but I'm just seeing more of like an objective view on this. Will had been really silent about a lot of his troubles, or anything regarding his marriage. Jada's throwing everything out there, and we don't know what led to that. Like, yeah, we saw the slap last year, but regardless of that, like, it just feels very dysfunctional. Because I just think about me, if I was going into like a relationship, or if I was in a marriage, I wouldn't want that to escalate to that situation if me and my future lady, whoever that may be, was going through deep issues, right?
Yeah.
Even with the whole August thing, and we all felt that Jada and Will are in an open relationship, all this stuff, when they really weren't. So obviously she wasn't cheating or anything like that, but it's like, led us all to believe that, like, oh, this is just like, we were holding so hard on their relationship alone because that was the gold standard of what Black love should be. Like, no matter what, you would work through anything that stifles it. But on the face of it, it really wasn't that. So it's just, to say that it's messy is one thing, but like, I just think it's really weird to put all that out there. Excuse me. And just to see you still consider it a husband, right? Mm-hmm. Even though they split, they're not divorced, but it's like,
he's still her husband.
Yeah, to see your husband and to paint your husband out in that light, regardless of like if it's right or wrong, like, that's just, it doesn't suit well for the family. I think of things in as a unit, not just individual. Even though I've been speaking on Will the whole time, but just like, it all encompasses the family.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know what I would do if like my parents, if they were married in that way and this was happening, I'd be pissed. Like, I like knowing that, like, Mom, what are you doing? Like, why are you talking about Dad like this? Like, why does the world need to know about all of this? And maybe they're really open with their relation, like, connection and everything. Maybe, I don't know, but that's my side of it. I just think, like, this is it. Every time I hear about more of the book and what, like, she has been expressing, I don't feel good at all.
Yeah.
It's like, it's nothing to praise, it's worth praising, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, I hear you, and I think, it's a public consensus as well. I think when you are in the public too as well, it's a little different, and they put a lot of their stuff in public, but I do believe when you are married or even in a very serious relationship, like, there is a united front, as you spoke about. And it is so, but I mean, it is so many people don't poke holes. As an average normie, and I'll speak subjectively, and being married, it was just like, or being in a relationship, serious relationship.
No, you're married.
Yeah. But it's just like, even having, I mean, not on the platform of Will and Jada, but so many people, speaking about it and this, and you're sharing all this, that, and the third, but it was a very close environment, and it's people who actually care about you and want the best for you and your partner, or for you and XYZ. However, when you are on a public platform, who knows? But I still think it still should be the standard, especially when there is hurt. I think it's different when you're talking about so-and-so doesn't do laundry, I mean, maybe even the amount of women like that, like, oh, the ring, or we're going to, surface level things. But I think and I don't even want to say I think, and we know, with, even if we were separated or not, any type of entanglements, we known or not known, the fact that one was known, especially, and I'm not a man, but especially, and I'm not trying to be double standard, but it's our biology, but especially with an entanglement or an affair happening, right, with a woman and another man, that is a very hard thing to come talk about. And it's not to say you should shun or not talk about it, whatever, because we hear about it happen all the time. And I think that's the interesting thing, is other famous couples, just, it is what it is. It may be written in a bio, but going on to do interviews and writing about it, it is really hurtful. And I think that we saw that, whether Will's a man, or he's a man, but he's still human. And I think hearing about that, is hard, and some things should be kept private, especially if you decide to still be together. And I think that's the maybe the issue. That's a little hard for most of us to grab, because it's like, of course, when you go your separate ways, everyone's usually talking like this and that and the third happened, but you're still together and you still love this person, so you claim, and you know, vice versa. And it's like, well, what is the point of speaking all of this hurt into the public? Because you can, it's a little bit easier to heal, I would say. I mean, never been famous, but even just within my friend group or family, you know, some things are easier to heal from with a selected group of people or indoors versus everyone giving commentary and this and that and jokes being said and this and that. And so it's just like, what is the point? Especially, I think, when you are of a higher stature, where you could practically hire supporters or hire listeners or get the best help that is needed, unlike most of us, and really, you know, speak to it. But sometimes I think when things are being spoken, it is like, are you tearing down? Yeah, you can share your truth, but in essence, like, why do you need to share your truth with all of us?
I want to, I don't mean to cut your wisdom, but that the whole spill of like share your truth, even that gets blown out of proportion. Not saying for you, but in general, like, a lot of people feel like sharing your truth means it is the truth, and it's not. It's literally just a perspective. Sharing the perspective of what you feel is going on. And we tend to use that as validation, and it's not. It's not. It's like you're telling your side of your feelings on an opinion, and it's not necessarily like, you know, it's not sound. Yeah. And so I just wanted to mention that, because I hear that a lot too, and it's like, no, that doesn't make it good though.
No, it doesn't. And I mean, and that too is just, I think for a lot of us who have been in relationships or where you've expressed coming to terms with the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror, you know, hearing from your partner, and you just share that, like, you know, with people you trust, but it's just kind of like, what does it do? Like, honestly, if, you know, I've shared things with you and vice versa, it does. It doesn't release me of any accountability, I would say, but it does force me to look into the mirror and want to do better for the next relationship. That's what you're supposed to do. Or improve. Yeah. And I think I'll be honest and say that I think that's the major missing component of hearing about Will and Jada's journey, is that they're sharing, and it's individualistic. We all need to be selfish, some time to heal. And I know you said like one version of the truth and X, Y, Z. But where's the improvement?
I love that. Where's the progression?
Where's the progression? Okay, that's fine. And couples go through things, have open marriages, or they're separated. And this, for me, it's like, it's not even like, I'm trying to stop saying that. But for me, it's flatline, it's surface. It's this is what it is, and this is how we operate. And this is how we're moving forward. Not we're reconciling, you know, we talked about it. This is how we want to move forward. It's just like, no, we're just staying together, but all this, that, and the third has happened. This is how it made me feel. But in marriage or even any like serious relationship, there are challenges and there are issues. And usually people come together to improve, to resolve those. And I think that that's a major issue of hearing about a whole lot of, you know, what she disclosed, sharing her truth. But where is the remedy? Yeah. And I think that's what makes it hard to hold them now as a couple you want to attain to be, because it's like, okay, we all have, you know, maybe not all, but some of them may have experienced challenges here and there, but we know we want to be with this person. And that's the crazy part, is that they're like, we're not leaving. And that's totally fine. And for some of us, like, oh, the Bible says it, or this and that. But it's, how are you reconciling? How are you healing? How are you helping your children heal? How are you coming back together since you're together? You know, and that's a major part, I think, that's missing for America when they talk. And then lastly, I'll just say, it is highly, I'm just going to say it, as much as I could get on here and speak some things, it is highly, I would say, disrespectful and unwelcoming and just, I don't even want to say weird, but bizarre. I like the word bizarre, to speak of another man when you are still married and saying you're not going to separate. You know, it's very different when you're saying, we went through this, I love this person, but we've run our course. But it is strange, and it's had it been the other way around, and I'm just gonna flip it. Mm-hmm. And we all know, we don't know, but we all know, like, maybe stuff has happened with Will and other women and XYZ. It's been hinted. I'm not saying I respect him keeping it on the low or whatever, but maybe there was disrespect in the background and we don't know and we shouldn't know, right? Mm-hmm. But to go around and speak such a great connection with another person, that is very hurtful. Yeah. Yeah, it's like being and for us everyday normies, it's like me being with someone and just always talking about, my ex used to always do this. Oh, so-and-so was like that. You know, I could drop names or this and that and the third. And it's just like, we're normal people, you know, don't have the amount of fame or money. But we also know that if I said that to my partner as a normal person, I'm a normal person, they would feel hurt. They would probably leave. You're going to keep comparing me, you know, to this regardless. I don't, you know, we don't have to get into the validity of if it's true or not, but it's just as if you're talking about another male. And again, that's why I said the biology. As women, yeah, we get upset too when we hear about other women, but it just baffles me to the point where you are married, you know, to a man and you're talking about another man constantly. And that is okay. Like, again, if you were single, I would I get it. Like, I get it. Like, okay, I was married to Will. We got we were separated or divorced. And now I'm just giving a tell all about all the men I've been with or that I was interested in, who were my soulmates. But for any man to hear that is heartbreaking.
She's big enough, Tupac. Like, that man's still alive. Let that man rest. Yeah. Like, God dang, I'm sorry.
I get it, but it's like, yo. I get it, but it's also one of those. It's also, you were in something, maybe not physically, but I get it. It's just not the appropriate time.
It's not appropriate, I'm sorry.
Until you are divorced, not even separated, because, these are two iconic people. For one, and they are two males and very masculine males at that. And so it's just kind of like, you know.
You can't help but like see comparisons. Like if I was Will, that's the first thing that comes to mind. It's like, all right, so you compare me to him pretty much.
And that's the thing, you can't, and then you just keep talking and then you talk about how special this person was versus me, but you're with me. Like, it's just not good. And I understand, but that's the thing is, like, I think as humans, and I'll especially say as females, and I don't know, people can come for me as we transition or end it. Titanic, and...
Wait, what?
I'm going to Titanic. I know. But wait, no, this is it. I like it, exactly. But I'm going to the Titanic because the movie was great. Maybe cry.
I mean, you speak for yourself. Right?
I'm going to cry. Maybe cry. Okay, but one thing, fake rules. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's true or not. But she said this quote was just like, the woman's heart has so many secrets. And not saying women should keep things away, but like,
but I believe it.
And that's true. And that's why I brought up the Titanic. Is, I mean, I can't remember if their story really wasn't real. It was like the other couple who had died, whatever. But it's just kind of like the woman's heart. Oh, that's what she said, is an ocean of secrets. I like that quote. But it's just, that is okay. You know, men can put stuff out there and we have to deal. And
no, we telling ourselves.
Yeah, men do. And that's what we said. But as women, but the reason why we have an ocean, I think, of secrets, and that's why I just brought up the Titanic, is just, could you imagine, even though it was a fictitious, well, the story of Titanic is real, but it may be
romanticized?
Yeah, it was romanticized between, I can't remember.
Leonardo DiCaprio and...
I was trying to remember their character names. You know them.
Jack and someone.
You're so... Rose. Rose and Jack. You're so stupid, Rose. but in all, like, totality, just like she survived. She couldn't go back to the name. She heard the person and she just would have been like, ooh, I'm still alive. He would have probably did whatever. And then, obviously, she married and had the grandchild, and that's how she got back to the boat. But... it's just like, some things are just left for the heart, or they're just left for your friends. And it's because you love the other person, and you also understand the biology, I'm just sorry, of males. And I think, again, when you are with someone, they are still married. And to talk about someone dead or alive, and that nature is different. It's very different. If, I'll be honest, if Tupac was a friend to both of them, I could understand. But Will has always expressed how intimidated he's felt, even in him being alive.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. And so it's just, if I'm going to say I'm going to stay with you, and that's the thing, we don't know if it's for money or, and at this point I can't even say it's really even for religion, because everything didn't happen in the marriage. Yeah. So you're just like, and that's okay though. It's not, but it's just like, if you're going to do that, like, why keep doing this? And okay, and it's okay, like I said, if you're single, of course, I would just talk up a storm about everyone I've been with and how they impacted. And that's the freedom of being single. Yeah. Yeah. But when you are with someone, that you can't do that. You can, well, she did, but you can't. And then you see what happened, with her daughter writing the letter and all that. And it just sends we all have issues and challenges, but it just sends such a heartbroken message, I think, to your children and to the person that you're with. And regardless of what infidelities or open, whatever arrangements to them, even with Will Smith, I think some people, I didn't read his book either, but saying he often fantasized about XYZ. But when things are really put on the table, it is really hard. You're human, even if you are a celebrity. You're human. Yeah. And I think that's the sad case of Benjamin Button. No. The sad case. That's the sad case of Will and Jada, is that the humanization of it. It's almost as if Will, in a way, it's not a good joke or a good analogy, has to put a thug life front on and be like, I'm okay with it. Maybe he is, but maybe he isn't. But we all know he's not.
No pun intended. Jeez.
I know. All eyes on me. But it is, though.
That should have been the real title of the book.
That really should have been. But,
I'm done.
I know. But that's just like ultimately when it comes down to, is because any one of us, I mean, I see, men especially, but even as a woman, I mean, I cannot imagine if, Will went on, he may have done X, Y, Z with people, but I can't imagine if he would just be like, I forgot his wife's first. That was
first wife's name? Yeah, I forgot.
But I just can't imagine if he just would keep, like, she was amazing, she was this, she was that, because then you would be living in that shadow, but it almost seems like you're just living in Will's shadow. And that's what people keep saying. She just doesn't like it. But it's like, but you have so many followers. You have so much support. That's the thing. That's what I don't get. It's like, she could literally start a women's group or whatever. And like, honestly, I would probably join.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
I mean, she did Red Table Talk. I'm pretty sure she had no problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you would have no problem to even make people sign NDAs and talk and share your truth without having, and again, it comes down to if you decide to stay the person, but you're with the person. And I don't condone like, what happens behind closed doors, especially if it's toxic. I get that, but when it comes to marriage, it is sacred. When it comes to a serious relationship, it's like, just respect that, especially if it's going to hurt the other person. And I think I'm sorry, going on, but last thing on her interview, it's just like, I'm going to play the adulterous wife because he's not ready. First he said
I didn't hear that.
Oh yeah, she said, she was like, first he said he was ready. He wanted to be there with me on the Red Table Talk, but then he just couldn't. And if my partner was telling me that they couldn't, why would you still go on there or even allow him? We saw it in his face. He's still human.
No, she wanted her get back.
Yeah, but then she also was like, but then even the way she goes around is like, I'm the adulterous wife, and it's.
No, I think that's what it was. She wanted her get back.
Yeah,
for some strange reason,
and that's okay. But nobody was even. You guys are who you are. Everyone already heard the rumors. I think if anything, I wasn't mad as she cheated. I just think it was odd that you would cheat with your son's friend.
That's nasty.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's
sorry.
Yeah. How many other people women do we know who have had? I mean, we could probably think if I could rack my brain about, but it's not.
I know I shouldn't be judging,
but I think that's more of what people had a problem with. It was who it was, not necessarily what was done, because everyone kind of knew. The fact that even she's saying Chris Rock asked her out. Yeah, well, we would.
I can believe that though.
That's fine, but I would have rather her be with him than Algus Alsina.
Yeah,
I think her being with him would have made a lot more sense than being with like a young adult that was your friend, your son's best friend or friend who was going, and that too was just a weird thing. It's like he's going through depression or all these things, and you're older, like it's different. Yeah, if he
taking advantage.
You're taking advantage. It's different. He was all fine and his mental health and everything was up, but it's like you took advantage. It's almost like you took advantage of him. That's all. But no one. If you would have been with Chris Rock, we just want to be like, oh, okay, like messing with the bros. Like
I would have been more upset with Chris.
Okay, yeah, but I'm just saying. but at least at least it was age appropriate. That's all I'm saying. But I'm saying like that's what made it weird, I think.
Yeah.
And she chose, and again, not saying Will is innocent, but it's like you chose someone who obviously felt hurt by what you did to them and had to expose, and that too is just in itself like, and you just could take it, but instead of like taking, it's just like, okay, no, we were separated. But even if you were separated, it's going to someone like that's hurtful. And then also writing off the back of someone, it's like, and I get it, because we've all, well, not all, but maybe some of us have really been with legacy men or legacy people. And it's just like it's like she's not milking, but like she's been with two incredible people. Not like maybe romantically with two people, but it's like iconic. She's been with two iconic people.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's where, and I'm okay with her sharing that truth, but again, single.
Yeah.
If you're single, like, yes. Because just... And interesting enough, and I keep saying I'm going to stop, but I am. I just want to say this, is that love Tupac, got the same birthday. Super cool guy.
Oh, right.
But Gemini. The thing is, I know Gemini. I'm glad. But the funny thing, not even funny, is just interesting that people who were actually married or with him have not even spoken. And not to say they don't have a platform, because they would. I mean, whatever that white DJ's name is, DJ Vlad would give them a platform. Anybody would, but it's just like, it's the sincerity of it. And that's what I think is just kind of odd with Jada, especially playing in these prominent roles that we love. And obviously some of us being able to like resonate with whatever, but it's just like, it's just odd to me that, it's like you want that. And that's okay. But again, get it appropriately.
Yeah.
And I think that is just wrong in the way that she's done it. And I also think it is disrespectful to the woman that was actually married and then he was engaged after. Not saying he wasn't a player, he got around, but it's also just, I mean, I don't know, I wasn't alive. But for what we heard, but that too. But it's like, but again, and maybe these women are married and that too, they're normal and they are probably respecting the partners that they're with or their children, and they probably let them know. I mean, I remember, I think I saw like comments that were like, well, I met him or he wanted to hook up, but blah, blah, blah. But it's just like,
people gonna say whatever.
They are, but we all know some things, but it's just like, I just wish, and I get it though. I respect her journal entries. I respect her. Jay!
What? No, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying.
I respect a woman's journey, and I think that's just what it is. But I think that usually the journey does come out after you've been liberated.
Yeah.
And you choose to be, or you don't choose it, and you guys both, or the person, whatever, files a divorce. But, and I think there's like bits and pieces that we all talk about. Even for me, not being allowed, but yeah, you talk about it. But everything in a sense, like until you're completely departed, it's, it's hard. But I am really about to close, is that I think that if in a marriage, and I know like some people, you know, whatever, they're in a marriage and whatever works for you works, right? And I think if you see that, like, people, both the spouse and husband, whatever, wife and wife, on the same page, you're like, okay. But I think because Will's emotions clearly, after Alex Alsina being on the Red Table Talk, whatever it was called, he was not good. He was looking like a break down. Then there was a video of her trying to record him. He asked her to stop, and she kept recording him at their home or something. Remember that came out? And then last but not least would be the slap. And so it's just like, if someone is showing you that, then it's just like, okay, well, maybe, you know, that's all. Maybe we shouldn't discuss it. Let people ponder. And that's the thing. They are the two people on the planet who owes nobody anything. If anything, as a normal person, if I'm trying to stay with my husband or stay with somebody, or you're with somebody, it's like, okay, you want your friends support, you need them, you want them, you want them to be there and all this, but it's like, you all are in top 1%. You live independently of all of us. Yeah,
that shows that too. I mean, just say like I said, they were the model relationship.
Nobody can touch you, and they still can. People can, even us can comment, but yeah. I have to do a lot of editing.
No, so it's like, I know you have the next question.
Yes. Is it this one, right?
Yeah.
So as we shift, we talked a lot about Will and Jada. Dating is very important, obviously marriage. And that's probably why we are talking about Will and Jada so much, is because unity is important. UNITY.
Phenomenal song. I listened to that the other day.
UNITY. So we want to transition and just talk about, what does dating look like, for Black people, ideally. You can go ahead. Can you pause it? We can add that.
All right. So, man, that's an interesting question, because I feel like I'm about to say we're in like a dating renaissance, but it's not necessarily a good one. I'm not gonna say it's a positive one.
Wait a minute. What is that? What is that movie? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
It's that movie back then. It was. I used to watch it with who, and it was like back in the. People were like trading limbs, and what is that? It was like they were but it was like it was like a
trading
what like crazy sci-fi movie, but it was like old school, and they had motorcycles and bones.
You mean Mad Max?
Mad Max. Dating is like no, I'm saying dating is like a Mad Max movie.
Oh, okay. I
except for people like him. Well, I always get lucky because his friends connect him and with beautiful, good women who want to settle down, even though he doesn't do it vice versa.
I'm not even. Don't even prop me up like that. It's a
Mad Max dating world out there.
I would say, okay, that was the nice way to put it. I was gonna say the world is in a whole phase. So we'll put that in.
That is a mean way to say it.
No, it's true. It is true. Like. Look what we have. City Girls just released an album last week. Phenomenal, by the way. I listened to it.
Okay. Okay. I have no idea what that is.
But what I'm saying is, they promoting this. It's not even a sexual liberation, just a liberation of intimacy, I guess you can say. Just a freedom to pretty much go out and do what you want. I mean, one of the messages is like they don't want to date no broke men, but that's a topic for another day. Anyway, based off of just relationships in general, I feel like we as a community are struggling with what we want. Like, we're in that in between. Like, we prop up as like what we want in our future partner, but then we are afraid of commitment, and maybe that's always been there, but like it's more so now with social media. There's always this picture painted of like the perfect person, what you will look for, and what a relationship should look like, especially with dating apps too. Like I stayed away from it. I've never done it. I am in no rush to do it. I just think that it's just, yeah, I can go on a whole rant about dating apps, but anyway. It's like, of course, I'm like the 1%. I'm more of a natural person. I like, courtship, even though that is rare, apparently, courting. But, yeah, it's even talking about that. Tia Mowry made a statement that like we don't court anymore, and maybe that is in an age perspective, right? It's like case by case basis based off of generation. Because I know I still do that, but that's like my father raised me right, so it's like that's all I know, and that's what is pretty much like what I'm supposed to do. I know. But yeah, it's like people don't really know what it is to, what kind of partner they're looking for and what they want for themselves. I think the most important thing too, a lot of people don't really talk about, is like, what is your long-term vision of a relationship? Maybe you want to have fun. You want to go and date around and stuff, test the waters and stuff. But like, I'm not trying to like, flow with the waves when I don't know how to surf yet. Like that's something that I kind of pride myself on. Like I don't want to waste my time. I don't have time for that. Yeah, I'm speaking of, my age, I guess I'm still considered like in the young category, but like, play no games. But that's how. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I don't have time to try to figure things out, and I'm only speaking for myself because I know there's gonna be a lot of people in them comments. It's like, speak for yourself, which I am. Like the next person that I'm looking for something long term because I'm willing to build with that person. That is my long term vision, right? And that's one of my values as well. Like, if I'm just out here, just trying to try things out and just seeing like, oh, just the pick of the litter. Let's see how she is. It's like, oh, she's a baddie. Like, let me just stick it. Sorry, you're the partner. I know. Even though you did try to do one, and I was like, no, stop. That wasn't even. That was a different situation. I can't believe you bring that up. That was a different situation anyway. But even with that, like we don't really have a focus, and I hate to use in generalization terms, and I hate to speak for every one of us, but most people that I've talked to that are single, they don't really have a clear idea of where, and I'm talking about people around our age. Like, they don't have a clear idea of what they want for themselves and for their future in their relationship right now. And look, I have empathy because look at what we have to deal with. We got social media. We got like self-help, like love podcasts and stuff like that. Which is oversaturated. There's already too much of it as it is, so I can see why people feel so confused. But it's like we really need to sit with ourselves and really like plan out. Yeah, we gotta do the work, right? We gotta plan out and see what is it that we want for ourselves and for our future relationship. Because it's like, if not, like, there are people in like their 40s and 50s who's still trying to figure it out. I'm not trying to be that. Like I said, I'm speaking for myself. I know what I want. And I know what I'm looking for. And even for that, I know for my selection, like it's probably rare, and that's fine. Like, it's, patience is a virtue, right? Yeah. A lot of people don't like to wait. They want things immediate.
Yeah.
And then, you end up getting something that you don't want. And there's a flip side of that too. I'm gonna let you speak for a moment, but like there's a flip side to it as well. You have people who are talking about like, I'm looking for this and looking for that, blah blah blah. But are you prepared for that?
Yeah.
Have you prepped yourself up to receive that woman or that man? Because it might come to a term where you actually get what you asked for, and either one or two things will happen. Either that you weren't ready for it, so you lose them, or that you just wasn't prepared for it altogether, and it might be too much for you because you weren't even at that level yet. So I know that was a real roundabout way of answering that question, but like all in all, I just feel like as a community, there's too many distractions on what we need to, like, what is trendy when it comes to the dating realm, and not necessarily looking within ourselves like what is right for me. Like I know like being a serial dater is not for me, because I am very much like, I'm a devoted man. Like if there's one person that I'm with, I'm sticking to that one person. I'm not dating multiple people. And of course, I'm only speaking for myself. That's for me. And then the person because dating is actually, a relationship itself is a blueprint of what your marriage will look like.
True.
You're practicing and prepping for that time. If you even think of getting married, and people who don't want to go down that road. I actually want a marriage because that's like my plan too. I want to build an empire with the family that have a legacy. But have a plan. That's it. And we don't have plans right now. We just like to jump in the pool and just hope we stay afloat.
Yeah. Wait, analogy. Yeah. Well, brother.
Don't prep me if I want to hear you.
He's not on the market. No, I hear you. And yeah, I think a lot of what you said is true. I definitely think courting is important. But I might get candid, which might have to scratch. But
well, there's no frills, sis. Just put it out there.
I know, but courting is very important, and I think I have been courted like almost all, like I haven't had that many relationships, maybe like 4 or 5. And I was courted probably about 3 out of 5. I don't know if it's good or bad.
Average.
Yeah, it's a little more than average. And then I shall say maybe 4.
Okay.
Because the politician did court me. Okay. The only person is the last person who didn't. But yeah, so I think it's really important. I just think, and that's why when he would speak on it, I had so many songs that came into my head. One was Kanye, Work It, Feel It. And I said,
wait, the workout plan?
No. Is that what it sounds like? Don't kill me. It only make me stronger.
Oh, okay. That's
you
later
were talking about, we got a plan tonight. And I'm saying, does anybody make him like this when you said that?
Yeah, the Daft Punk
Does anybody make him like him anymore?
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm going to start saying out loud. I wish I had, like, I'm going to have to learn how to do the things while you're, like, talking. Make the bubbles in the background. But I always think courting is important, and it's not like some big secret or elaborate schemes, you know. Like I said, like 4 out of 5. And it just felt good. It's not anything bad. It's like someone seeking and you're getting to know someone. And that's on, like, I mean, bare minimum. And I don't know if that's the difference, but most people I've dated, I've gone to school with. And I think maybe that's the difference too. So being courted, and I don't know. And that's what we should talk. Being courted on a budget, it was normal.
Oh, yeah. That's a huge thing.
It was not a big of a deal. It's like, you in college? I'm in college. You in high school? I'm in, like, what? Where did all these things? And to go back to, like, I don't even entertain all of the shenanigans online about dating. And I actually think for Black Americans, it's killing the dating scene. Like, just go with someone and go with the vibe. A lot of hate in the comments. And it's a what?
Yeah, a lot of hate, yo.
I went to San Francisco State, and I had days on top of Cesar Chavez. I walked my butt up them stairs, and it was beautiful, and it was free, and I got a workout in.
Yeah, one of my relationships started there too.
Yes, and so it was just like it was what it was. It wasn't about the place. It was about the connection. And honestly, sometimes I wonder, are people going on dates for the place or for the connection? Because I wouldn't even accept, even if you just walked up to me on the street and I'm just being honest, I don't know, Tesla, or invited me to the most expensive place, like, I would just be like, what? Like, I don't even know you. So I don't know. It's just so interesting. It's just about the connection. And I don't know, like, and that's where the courting comes in, though, because of course you can look to social media or media and think you're and I hate using this word, but because we are deserving of courting, but I will say in terms of, let me take you on a trip to Aspen or all this, like you can look at that and think that's what you want, but I honestly question people if that's what you desire, because most of us, like I'm just saying, we've been in relationships and we've been courted, and that was definitely not on the radar. You know what I mean? For me, someone getting ice cream and walking me home from a late night class was courting. Yeah. Someone making sure I got home safe. Someone making sure I ate, whether it was ramen noodles or sometimes pho.
Meeting the family.
Yes. Meeting the family. Being there. Like, those were very important things, but they just came naturally. I didn't even see that. I'm a first generation college student. Like, it wasn't you too. Yeah.
Mom did some college. So.
Yeah, but it wasn't, that was even in high school. And that's the thing, is like, so if you don't have these expectations in high school, I'm confused on where they came from, and I get it. We're all we are worthy of things, but worthiness to me just looks different. It's someone putting in the time and effort. It has nothing to do with the place of establishment. I can say, you can have, I think if anything, a woman or a man can have, like, okay, no. Like, I'll be honest and say, no, I don't want to go to McDonald's as a first date, right? But I'm not.
No, just say, I wouldn't. Look, I wouldn't throw down on a Cheesecake Factory for a date. No,
that's fine. But I'm like, saying
that's
if you
cool,
were,
man. Like,
but then again, it's different stages of life. Like, I mean, maybe I went to McDonald's in high school, even in college. I think in college, the first date actually, which is interesting. Maybe these women are heart or something. I never went to a chain restaurant. I went to pho. I went to a nice little Vietnamese restaurant in San Francisco on Pride.
No, that's still a good date.
No, that's what I'm saying. But that's what the women were saying. They don't want to go to a chain restaurant. They want to go to the restaurant.
They asking for a lot. Look, I'm gonna start.
But I'm saying I didn't go to any chain restaurants. But it was the thought.
For too much, bro.
But that's the thing. But I went to a hole in the wall thing. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't, and I also went to Cheesecake Factory, and you know how that went. But, but they ended up walking off anyway.
Okay, I didn't know. Wait, I didn't know that one.
Okay.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus.
Cheesecake Factory is good, though.
Yeah, that's great. Like, look,
but I don't like it anymore.
I mean, look, it's an ideal dating spot.
No,
that's his other birthday. But, like, it's an ideal dating spot. Look. That woman out there who put that out talking about, she lied. Look here, like, you better be lucky that you even got taken out. I hope that every man saw your reaction and avoid you like the plague. Because how dare you be so ungrateful? You better be lucky that man took you out. Oh, I'm going my round. I'm sorry. I'm gonna I mean, come on.
But
like that's
but this is what's killing us is like all of this commentary on where you go and where you do, but
it's messed up though.
But it is, but it's like, but that's the thing is where did it come down? Like, honestly, like I said, like, we've all been, I'm very grateful. I'm just grateful. Like, not saying again, like, sometimes it makes you, and I'll be honest and say, when you look at that, even as a woman, you're just like, so if I accept that, am I like this, that, and the third? Like, I went on a double
pretentious.
I went on a double date there, to be honest, with names of shall remain. But I went on and it was beautiful. It was in San Francisco by the skating rink. You know,
that's the best cheesecake factory I've been at so far.
Yeah, Union Square.
You got the roof and everything.
Yeah,
if y'all don't know,
we're on the floors. It's so nice that you might slip, but
I watch people slip. I'm sorry. That's
honestly, that was for Valentine's Day. You know, but every other day or every other time, I felt like I was special. We went to so many different restaurants that weren't on the market, but they weren't super expensive. Kagis, different sushi places, pho on Pride Day. Like, there was just so many other things. So I don't know. But that's a whole nother story. I think focusing on the courting, like you said, I think courting is very important, and it comes in many different shapes and forms. And I don't know, again, how that looks for different people, but like I said, we're speaking on my own experience, and we'll probably chop up this video, but for me, all of my courting happened when I was in college, and so except one when I was out, and that was disastrous, but being in, it's like we're all on a budget. I like you, so yeah.
You're talking about finances though. But
no, it's still in general, but it's not even finance. I mean,
so that's a different conversation.
But I don't even think it was finances. It's just like, we're in school. I mean, unless you just, I don't even know. Where are you even? That's what I'm saying. I had like...
Look, y'all need to be creative. That's sorry.
What I'm saying. It's about creativity. But I'm not saying, even if you came from a rich family and you're in school, I mean, are you still taking somebody? Like, that's the thing. Is just
man, you better learn how to cook.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But
you're not like, okay, let's go to Fleming's or let's go to Scott's. Like, you're not, even if you have it, it's just more about the experience. That's all I want. Courting is about the experience.
Yeah, my dating experience, we go on extracurricular activities. Yes. You got to earn these dates. I want to see how serious you are.
See, that's wrong. That's wrong. That is wrong. And see, that's what makes it hard. Like,
what do you mean? No, I'm going to put you to work. I want to see how serious you are about this.
No.
You want to go on a hike for a date? Word?
I would, but I'm saying you trying to say
that's what I'm saying.
But I think when we get into earn, that's what makes women get apprehensive these days. Is earn.
There is a study out there. Hear this. This is for real.
Oh,
there's a study out there.
Oh my God.
54% of women that go on dates, by the second date, they're only there for the food.
Okay, and you can have all that in your head, and I think you need to check women you date.
Nah, man, no. Because that is true.
No.
That is true.
It can be
There's
true.
The stereotype of men always have to pay for everything, so that women go out. Two things
can be true at the same time. But my thing is, if I'm like, whoa, you are attracting those type of women. You are what you attract.
I mean, yeah, what you do frequently is your fantasy.
Yeah, because
I agree.
I'm just like, because that to me is just odd. Yeah, I want some food, but like, I gotta like you too. I mean, if that's the case, then I can just, but that's what I'm saying.
I mean, economically though, you do save money.
Yeah.
I'm just putting it out.
But if you don't, but my thing is, if you don't, and I wish I could call my sands, but my thing is, if you don't enjoy the company, you just like, that's why
you're there for the food.
No, but it's not enough. Oh, trust me, it's not enough. I've never been there before, but it's not enough. I'm just saying, it's not enough. I'm saying courting can be done anyway. It's about the experience. It's about how someone makes you feel. And maybe, that's what I'm saying is like, maybe, which I'll say this, and I regret it, is like coming from an era of dating. You can speak about yours later, but dating people you've already known or dating in a controlled environment is very different, I think, than just being outside in the world.
Oh, I mean, I prefer that.
Being outside in the world?
No. Oh, I mean, dating people that you already know. Like, if you already friends with them and then grow, like, I prefer that more because it's like...
You already, but that's what I'm saying. I think that's what it is now, is that so many people are meeting people without any... You talked about online dating, and, you know, I have experience. There's no type of... I'll just be out there, like, dating lineage or connections to families and things like that nature. But when you're in controlled, and when I say controlled, is that somebody from somebody knows somebody. So there is a higher expectation that the person won't ghost you, and the person will be on their best behavior because they know, even if it doesn't work out, it's like, okay, we have an inner circle, or we have this inner thing, right? The same with dating, like I said, at college. I would suggest for those who are in controlled environments, meaning those who are in school or, you know, dating high school. I think high school sweethearts are amazing. I think we all grow, and that's totally fine. But the earlier, the better, I think you find... I'm just going to say that's my first point. The earlier, the better you find a partner. Whether or not it works out long term, whatever, but that person will help you grow and show you what you want. But that is really great, to find someone. You don't always have to get married right away or have kids, but making sure that connection is solid as you grow up. And that could be friendship, right? We both have experienced that. Almost everybody in our inner circle. And then second...
Those are my best relationships, actually.
Yes, just likewise. And yes.
I'm just putting out there, man. I'm not laughing at you, but I'm just saying.
I know, but they were. And now it's like, okay... It was from, you know, now it goes to college. And those are some of my best as well. And then when you come out, there just hasn't been like I think that's what we're looking at now, is the formula of dating a stranger. And when you think about it, when we grew up or whatever, you may have heard like different anomalies of, I just met him on the street, or her, blah, blah, blah. But most people, a friend of a friend, a blind date, or this, right? But, or went to the bar. But it's an anomaly though. It's very hard.
Of course.
Because it's like, there's no, and that's the thing, you get lucky maybe once or whatever, but it's not like a string, like, it's just not like a normal thing to go out and meet strangers and someone that's completely 100 honest with you. The same way if you are online, that's a stranger, they're not completely 100 honest with you. One thing I will say, and I respect about a lot of people, my close friends who relationships, even if they met people online, they knew people who knew them and all that, this, that, and the third. And so when you marry or be with or with someone that's outside of that, it's totally different. And just like the Chiefs, I mean, I didn't watch it all, but
I didn't watch it at all.
I just saw it. But yeah, it's just like you're going out with a complete stranger who has I'm being honest, sometimes going out with a stranger, like I said, there's some good things or whatever, but sometimes, most of the time, it can end up in a way where there's no obligation. There's nothing. They, like, especially now, they can ghost you. There's no one to be like, do you know, like, anybody my brother dates? I mean, they wanted to come to me, which they have some time, but do you know what your brother did?
I've always, like introduced anyone to
but they would be like, do you know what he did? And it's not a bad thing. I'm just like, well, and vice versa. Or not the men, but I'll be like, do you know what the person did? But that's the thing though. But it's just like, now, unfortunately, that's missing is, so I think if we could, honestly, in a perfect world, home ec should come back. Having a little flower baby should come back. But dating and all that, it's very important to establish earlyhood. Not saying you need to be having sex and all that, but I think
just a connection, like you said.
The connection is very.
You don't have to make it complicated.
You don't have to, but that's now why it's complicated, and it's annoying. It's very annoying, especially when you come from these generations or you have these experiences. Both of us, it's like, I mean, who cares? Like, we were in high school, so what do you say about the guy? I mean, shoot, I'm sure LeBron James didn't get Savannah wherever they are now. They were definitely in high school, but that's what I'm saying. They were in high school, and
Steph Curry and Aisha, they were high school.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade was, who was with somebody, but even, it's now Gabrielle. But it's just like, but they didn't. It wasn't like in high school they were going to, can't even tell you, I don't know, Ramsey's, whatever, in Vegas, like Chris and Bruce.
It was a restaurant, by the way.
It is. I heard.
I met him out there.
Yeah, but it's just like, but it's like, but they weren't. But then it's like, but they love them. That's the thing. But those things come, and I think that's what I didn't like about the video is that it grows over time, and it's like, why are we looking at unrealistic things on social media or what? But the reality is this, and we both can experience that. And I think I'm not gonna like shade anyone's experience. Well, I know we're both attractive or whatever, so we had experiences in high school and in college. But honestly, looking back, there was nothing wrong. Like, honestly, I would have made nobody do more or less.
Because we were broke back then.
But also, we didn't have any. But that's like the thing. That? But that's not the thing. And some of us weren't. Some of us had money, or some of us had a lot of financial aid.
It was a lot of romantic ideals because that's all we had.
But even now, but that's the thing I'm saying now but it was still about the experience. It wasn't.
Yes.
I'll be honest and say I wasn't. And it could be but I didn't even feel, I'll be honest, I didn't feel like I was broke in college, but I didn't have these aspirations. That's what I'm saying. Where did these things come from? But I also didn't have those. And I don't think you did either, as the other person or the next. Mm-hmm. It's like, but that's what I'm saying is those things weren't there. And even seeing one of my friends, our friends date off of an online thing and whatever, it's like, okay, yeah, this, that, and the third. If it's my birthday, let's do something or what, blah, blah, blah. But other than that, during COVID, we've had friends who just be like, just come over and I like you or, whatever. It's not like this grand. That's why I said it's about the experience. If you're placing the value on where someone is taking you, that is ulterior motives. The only time I would place value on that is if I'm dating. You saw Insecure, right?
Oh, yeah, I watched all of it, yeah.
Yes. And the funny thing is, she was with Lawrence for so long. She really, he was complacent, but it was her birthday that was just like, Like, I would only expect my person to be like, oh, yeah. Unless,
that was messed up what happened, though.
That was. He didn't remember, and that was on Temptation.
That's for anybody, yeah.
But it's just like, but that's what I'm saying. It was just only, but it was like, other than that, it's like, well, yeah, we're having takeout or we're cooking or blah, blah, blah. Like, that is just the lifestyle, rich or poor. Like,
it's complacency. That's what that is.
But then that too is what I've learned is, and that's where I messed up and lost somebody, is that it's nothing wrong.
Oh, okay. We gotta go. We're not gonna go down that rabbit hole. But all in all, look, people, all the single folks out there, we can say that because that's where we're at right now. Be innovative, please. Like, we don't need to make this complicated. Like, I'm for real about. Look, hikes can be beautiful. They can be very romantic. Like, I don't know what else you can do.
I want that to be the first date.
Why not?
Unless I'm an athletic person.
You don't have to be athletic. You walk.
But if that's not my prerogative,
no, well, you better.
Then I'll take a walk.
That's what we gonna do. We're gonna walk Ocean Beach. Have a date at Ocean Beach.
Yes, the lake or the Ocean Beach. I'm not hiking on the first date.
Why not? Those are the best. Now I know where your mind's at. I was like, okay,
it's not that. No,
this is my thing. You can tell if someone that you are dating or is about to date is a real one if you don't spend no money on the first date. I challenge everybody. Here's your homework. We didn't even go back to the homework assignment you last, but here's your homework. On the first date, make it as frugal as possible and see what that person does.
But don't take nobody on a hike.
For real.
No.
I am for real. Well, let's see what they would do.
Brother,
they are worth the second date that they go through.
But that's the thing. I wouldn't take nobody on because if I'm going on a hike, I can eat before. I'm going to eat.
Make sandwiches.
Don't finish it. I'm going to eat light. You're going to work that off, and you're going, every time I have gone on a hike, I expect something grand after.
Yeah, you can. I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah, but if I go on a walk at the lake, I'm like, it's cool. But if I'm rigorously sweating and all this, I think hikes are good for second and third dates. That's all. It's nothing wrong. First, no.
You got to show how much you work for it.
Yeah, and the second date. First date can be around the lake. First date can be around the crackhead park. And I will dodge and do what I gotta do. But
it's an investment. How much you really want it?
It's not even that. And then
that's the question. How bad you
unless I put on my thing, or I'm an avid hiker, don't come to me with that. I hike with my friends, and
black folks, they hiking a lot.
Also, that's true, but that too is so dangerous.
How's it dangerous?
First of all, you need 2 or 3. No, you need 3 people to hike.
No, you do not.
Whoa!
I've hiked a lot with my ex. We did a lot. No,
you should, but you shouldn't have done that. That's dangerous. And if you ever look at some of these old school killings and whatnot,
see, now you're doing too much. You're doing much.
First of all, people caught me, but no, If, for example, it should be me, you, and Kayla, right? Because we go on a hike. If I break my leg or something, someone has to stay with me, and then someone has to go back.
Oh my goodness! That's like, look, you're talking about like if we're going on Mount Diablo or something.
It don't matter if that person's not a hiker. Anything could happen, and that's what men risk. And I'll be suing you. You go.
Look, you have your interest. You don't even have to go on a hike. Go axe throwing. Go and try to do.
I believe first dates should be free though, or frugal.
There you go.
And I think that should be just because it's not even. It's getting to see, especially if it's a stranger. If it's not a stranger, do what you want to do because you already know them. And just like you, I'm a proponent of dating someone you've already known or connected with.
Those are the best connections.
But yeah, they are. Oh God, they are.
Look, man, learn how to cook. Mama taught me right. It's like you want to keep a woman, learn how to cook.
And that too. Yeah. Hey, she left us a comment. But no, that's true. But I just don't want people to give in to all these, like, social media is just killing dating. Go with your
that's a fact
gut and your feeling. Have a good time. It's about the experience. Please, please, please. It is about the experience. I've dated in the village. I've dated in America. I've dated in Japan. I'm just saying I've dated in all platforms, and it was never that's what I'm saying, like, as much
connection,
it was about the connection, and as much as, and that's the thing, you can call me average, or in those days I was above. I'm just saying above. I'm just saying my intelligence, my degree, like all of that stuff really just didn't matter. It was how the person treated me that made me feel special. Like, and I look good now, but I look good then, and extra good or extra not, whatever.
You're always beautiful, sis.
Yeah, thank you. But I've always looked good, and so it wasn't like because I look this way or because I have a degree or 2 or amazing friends, or it was never like that. It was like, what do you like about me? I've been a racist. If you ever go to South Africa,
I want to go, though.
Spur is like the most weird racist Indian. It's like an Indian race, but I've been there. I've been to Ocean Basket, which is similar to Red Lobster. I've been at the top of the top. I don't know if you guys know Diamond Platinum, some of the Afrobeat artists. I've been to Tasha, like, it's just like these Tashas in Midland, but it never even occurred to me because I was just spending time with someone. That was it. I've walked, like he said, on a freaking soccer field for free.
Oh, that's dope though.
But yeah, it was dope.
I mean, as far
but it was but the moral is about the connection. And Nando's, I love me some Nando's chicken.
She's pretty much throwing shade to everybody who hasn't been to Africa yet, but that's
but you should. But that's probably why women be going there.
But yeah, that part, yeah.
But it's about the experience, and if we can say we have to chop this up, but if anything, go for the experience. Please stop with these videos about what's wrong with each other. There's nothing wrong.
You're creating more hate.
We're creating more hate and division. Yeah, and it really saddens me because there's just so much. Just be together. Yeah. Just have an experience. That's what it's about. It's the experience. That is all. I have rode on buses as first dates, like just to experience what the person I'm interested in experiences.
I think we all have that at one point.
Well,
I don't think that's anything new though. But
it is. Well, if somebody don't want to go to Cheesecake Factory, I'm sure they're not getting on a bus.
We didn't have Lyft back in back in the day.
But I'm just, but even in my adulthood, 30s, 20, before I even got, married, whatever, I did that. I rode to work with my ex-partner. And so I've been to work with my, whatever, husband.
But that's because you were invested.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But that's the thing, though. If you're not, when we say that, that's the strange thing. It's like, okay. And that's what I don't know, is that when I see someone, and you can speak to that. When I see someone, well, when I did, and especially in college, I'm like, yeah, or in high school, I'm not saying it's love at first sight, but I like you. I like you, and I want you.
Yeah,
that's some booty.
Yeah.
That's a bad booty. but it's like I like you, so I'm going to be around you. So that's my thing, is that I hear what you're saying, but it's like, if you like the person, my last thing is this: it's free food, it's economical, but at the same time, I don't get it, because it's like, are you going to really? I'd rather, even though I'm spending money, I still rather be with someone I really like, or my girls, and having a good time versus dreading a date. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, when you see someone, and I think you can do that online from their profile, and that's why I think it's important just to meet first, because you really don't know. And it's okay if it's not anything, because it shouldn't be. You're just meeting the person. I would only have those expectations from a boy I knew, or guy, that I dated from, maybe. But it's like, I just met you. Don't know me. You might see my photo. But these expectations are harmful. I don't think, unless... And that, too, is like... It's almost like are you on the streets? That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sorry, you got to take that out. But seriously, I'm just like, the only person I'm like... Who could... That's what I'm saying. Well, I be on the street and I would eat this and that. Then go eat that and that. Like, there's nothing that, and if the guy wants to do more, I would expect more from my boyfriend once we become that, to be like, okay, but Benihana's, yeah, I can take myself there, so I expect you to take me there. I'm not going to expect you to take me someplace that I don't, but if you do, I'm grateful. I am very grateful, but that's not my expectation, because I can't even afford it myself.
Yeah, Benny's was a birthday day for mine. That was a relationship in college, by the way.
And that's good. That, I probably would have those and bows. But
I'm nice. That was a nice treat.
Yeah, but that's all I'm saying, is just all this going back and forth is just for clout. I don't like it. I think it's unrealistic. I think people, you don't even know. It's the experience. It's the experience. And then again, and I know I'll get in a lot of trouble for this. It's like, well, yeah, I know we're all working on businesses. We got all this stuff going on. I can see if I'm like, Shay and co-founder of Blackpack, and we got it all like that. And I'm used to, and you see that on my whatever, and you decide to take me there, fine. Or if I make a request, I don't know, just like you requested for your birthday, you want 1942, we should give you that. But it's like, other than that, it's like, I just want to experience you. And I think dating apps is just weird, and they could be better. Maybe we can create our own, but it's like,
we have one.
Oh, we do. I mean, we do have
us,
but yeah. My grandmother actually, and she did that. She was met, and she's 70, and she met a man.
Good for her.
Yeah, but it was
shout out to your grandmother.
But he wasn't like, ooh, and I'm obviously got a retirement plan and everything. He wasn't like, let me give you a boat. He just said, I want to come see you, and let's go out to eat somewhere local. That was it.
Connection is always important.
Connection is important more than anything, not just going out. And if that is your plan, I think that's totally something different than going out on a date. And I wish women and men can classify that as something different. Yeah. Just like if you just want some money, okay, I'll be out. I'm an escort. I need $20. Well, $20, whatever, how it goes. That is totally something different. But if you're really dating is, like you said earlier, is the intention of being with someone. If you are really doing that, and that's the weird thing, is that the precedence you set up? The only people who set up that precedence are celebrities, or people who have money already, and they just do that on the regular. That's why I said it's weird to me, because it's not your life. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can see if the woman, I don't know, in the video, like I said, I didn't watch it. She's just used to every single, whoever she is, and we don't know who she is. She's just going out. It's like, okay, it's like if Angela Simmons would have came out and said, I don't go to the Cheesecake Factory, I would understand.
Yeah.
Not even saying this even her.
I mean, I would too.
But it's not even her look. She's beautiful, but it's more so, her stature. Like, okay, that makes sense. She probably don't, because she is used to blah, blah, blah. But if you're an everyday person and we don't, not saying you need to show the world, but that's the thing too. If that is your lifestyle, that's something you would let the person know before you even date them. You wouldn't even be on a place or on a dating site where that's not even a thing, because there are, just like, what is that show, Being Mary Jane? You ever watch that?
No, I haven't. But I wish I had.
Yeah. Well, even the politician I dated, like, he told me there are sites specifically for, and you told me that too when we went to LA. You had a friend or something. There are high profile.
Oh no, not my friend, but Emily K. Williams. She was.
Oh well, that's what. But that's what I'm
it's
saying.
like for wealthy folk. Because you got to drop like mad cash.
That's what I'm saying. That's and so it's like
you actually have somebody like who will vet people.
Exactly, and and people
that's
out there. Yeah. Oh, my bad. but that's how. But that is how it goes. It's like, if that's, you can be in a dating space for that if that's really what it is. Mm-hmm. But if it's not, then don't put I just say don't put unrealistic expectations on a man if you're not even providing. That's not what you're doing for yourself.
That is a fact right there. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's a perfect way to close that out though. Mm-hmm. It's like, like, know your value, know your worth, but like, don't overshoot.
Don't overshoot. Yeah. If I'm not doing it for myself, I'm
doing it for yourself.
If anything, I'm just expecting, it's an equal partnership, and when I don't got it, you got, to do it, but I'm not going to say, I stay at, where is it? I don't even know, in Vegas. I don't know, RN. And then I expect you to take me to Vegas and take me to Caesar Palace. Like, it's great. I would probably only expect it if I knew, you were 50 Cent or something. Yeah. But I'm not going to expect that from the average guy. What I'm going to expect is just to have a good time because I want to be with you. But I think guys, too, need to recognize that. But I think that's the problem is sometimes guys they like it, or they'll get all this money and or whatever and just be like, oh, I want to, show the girl this or act like I'm this way or that way,
Then it becomes...
It backfires. It's like they're trying to keep up. And I get it. If a woman looks bad according to their standards, they want this, that, but then that's what's creating all this. And you don't have to do that. Attraction is magnetic. That is my word.
Yeah, but we definitely... I mean, we said a lot. I know this is like 2 hours. This is like, I guess you could say this is like our first legit episode. Like we've said a lot, which is nice. We were flowing off of each other. There's so much to talk about. But this is I think we need to have a portion of just relationships in general. I think we can go on. There's so much that I have, more ideas I have, Brandon. But no, thank you all for taking the time to listen to our second episode, episode 2 of the Black Pack. Of course, there's going to be more. We will be making more. No, you got to have people challenge you in the comments. Be careful. Good. Well, hey.
Can I get a date?
But we will be working on more. This is just the beginning, and like I said earlier on, for a pack, it doesn't just take a small few. It takes the whole village to bring an impact, right? So we really do want the engagement. Definitely go into the comments. Let us know y'all views, y'all opinions on the topics. And if Jada is right in what she did, I'm sorry. But for real, like, we really do want to have healthy conversations behind these topics, because this is a community and it's not just us. So.
It's a pack. Besides that, yeah, we're good. I can't remember how we want to close out. But yes, we bid you all a good weekend. So it's a Friday. And a good following week. Hope we can check in. We're just going to wrap it up and say, yeah, check in with the comments. Stay blessed. I'm going to leave it with this, like, date for the experience. Date for the experience. Both men and women. Not for the fancy cars, the women and the caviar.
You really gotta put. You gotta put that song in there. You gotta get us copyrighted.
I'm just saying. Well, I'll come up with my own song and torture you all. But literally, date for the experience. Know that love is real amongst all cultures, but Black love is a powerful force. And
that part.
I think what makes, if you ever look at the old songs or anything, what makes it is the experience. Tony, Anita Baker, all those. Look at those. Look at those experiences. Date for the experience.
And intention
To be with someone. And that is all good. And treat yourself when you can. And that is more important than having someone treat for you, unless you are married to a person or in a relationship with a person. Like, if you have a great boyfriend like Julius, he'll probably do it for you.
I am single, people.
Not for long.
No,
the woman and the cat bite.
Right? You gotta be safe out there, people. Peace.
Peace.